Hello, I'm Mike Tollefson, and I'm going to continue talking about how to use Gem in the classroom. Specifically, we'll be working our way towards creating a custom chatbot that will allow students to study specific topics and for your class and the way that you want them to study. So what I thought would actually be useful is I've returned to the Gem Manager screen in Google Gemini, as I've showed in a previous video. And what I wanted to show you, and there's a lot behind this, was to show you what's actually behind the scenes with the Learning Coach prompt. And so the way that I created this Learning Coach prompt is if you click on the three dots, you can actually make a copy, and this is potentially a way for you to create your own customized version of the Learning Coach. It's a bit complex, and so what it does is it creates this study partner down here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pencil, which is the edit button. And so why I'm going to do that is I can actually see what's in the current prompt. I'm going to click on this arrow to get rid of, whoopsies, wrong arrow. Let's reopen it. All right, I actually want to click on this symbol to get rid of the study bar. The arrow closes the prompt, which was not my intent. And so then what we can do is we click in the instruction box. There are different parts to this. We'll cover this a little bit more detail, like the study partner is just a generic name. You can actually type in what it means. So this one doesn't, it's grayed out because all I did was copy it. And then here is where you can start to write the prompt. And so this is the prompt that, and I'm just going to slowly scroll as I talk. This is the prompt that Google wrote. And as you can see, it is not short. And so one of the things on whether if you want to attempt to use this as a starting spot for your study buddy is you got to find the best places to insert your material. And it does take a little bit. But part of the reason I'm showing you this is this is one way to create a new gem for the purpose that we're after. I will show a simpler way, in my opinion. But also, it shows some of the important parts that need to go into a prompt. And so at the very beginning of this, you can see they have something labeled as persona. And so what it does is it creates the kind of voice that you want this study session and the prompting that Gemini gives back, the responses that Gemini gives back to follow a certain character, which you can see, right? You're a study partner, a Socratic and encouraging AI tutor. Right, so it's setting the table there, and it's telling the bot what to do. At the end of that paragraph, your tone is calm, encouraging, and conversational. So that is just the start of it. But then, and that might be all you really need to put into a prompt. Not even that much as far as persona goes. But what they have done is they've done the work and the testing to be able to put things that are much more detailed into the prompt so that it will do what you want. And you can modify these if you don't like some of the stuff that in here. But like I said, it's a long prompt, a lot to look through. Like, for example, it says, okay, here's some non-negotiable rules. First rule is never answer, never use tools on the first turn, right? So it is trying to tell the chatbot to not just give them the answer, right? They can already do that in Gemini. So the idea behind creating your custom chatbot or using this study partner is to guide them in their learning. Because it's amazing how powerful AI can be in learning if you use it for learning. Right? Diagnose then guide. Student does the work, elicit deeper thinking. Or I'm just reading some of the headlines. Even challenge short answers. Like if they give a really short answer, that it might respond back. Even mentions cognitive load, handling uploaded knowledge files. So it's possible you know the little plus button over here allows you to upload stuff. And so it kind of goes on and on and on from that. Then another section actually tells it the process, right? So you've got a step 1, the setup mandatory first turn, building the personalized effective relationship. Do not skip these steps. So it's trying to be very blatant about what it is. First goal is to learn the student's grade and specific goal, right? So in the previous prompt, I had said high school and physics, specifically energy, mechanical energy. So I fulfilled this when I told it. But if the student doesn't, then it will come back and clarify that. It talks, oh, if it's a math problem, do this. And so there's a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. Then it talks about step 2, the Socratic loop, and it has its own set of instructions for that. Even has some nudge examples. And then special handling. So the student that doesn't want to go through the learning process and basically just wants the answer, they gave them special instructions for that as well. And so this is all kind of through there. They even have some sentence frames worked in here. This was built so that it works for any subject. All right. Now, there's another place I do want to show you before we actually get into constructing our own prompt. And the website is called EduGems, edugems.ai. I've already clicked on something. So, home screen looks like that. and so what this is another location where a whole bunch of different created gems already exist. And actually the one I had clicked on, student tools, since our theme is AI tutor, right? So this is just another version of that. So if I make my own copy, I can actually see what's in that gem. So if I click on that, it opens a new screen. And it actually has some of the similar stuff that we just saw. So like if I scroll down, oops, let me actually click on that, scroll down. Actually, it looks like they took a lot of this from, yeah, that looks a lot like the Gemini version of that. But the point in showing this is there's a lot of different examples. It doesn't just have to be student facing. And so there's a bunch of different teacher facing tools in this here. And so it's a kind of a nice repository to kind of see what are some of the things you can do in engagement in games, material and content, lessons and curriculum. And some might be useful to you. And that's part of why I show that at this particular time. All right. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to show some of the stuff that goes into the background. In the next part, we're going to actually construct our own custom chatbot in a slightly simpler way and trying to trying to basically customize it for what you need for your students.